but we'll move right along. Yeah, the bot doesn't know how to count. The bot is not programmed for math. Move along to Hovership Havoc, which does not involve soccer balls. This is a roguelike twin-stick shooter with third-person boss battles, which implies that the rest of the game is in first person. So there's that. This is probably going to be another controller game. This is twin-stick shooter. That's the kind of soundtrack you expect with a game called Hovership Havoc. Alright, my hoverships are level 0. And I only get one hovership. I get the Laser Blaster. So, shot rate is apparently tasa de disparo in Spanish, question mark? Edit loadout. I have 0 points, so not like I can do anything. I guess this is gonna be one of those roguelikes where you do get the sense of progression. You do get the stats that you can boost as you go along, which is fine. Like I've played and enjoyed both kinds. The research facility. Okay, shooting with the triggers. New ability unlocked. Slot 1. Yeah, just hold down the trigger. And we're not moving by recoil, I have to actually like move myself. Remember that. Okay, that's destroyed. This music is like actually quite loud. Let me turn it down ever so slightly. Once I see it like in OBS hitting the yellow, I'm like, that needs to come down a bit. Okay, so A, I guess, is a boost. Who's like, oh, they're spawning on me. And now I can't shoot anymore? I lost the ability to shoot for a moment. Is this good goo? It's something. Oh, there's an overheat bar. Right. Pay attention to your HUD, buddy. That makes sense. Use a speed burst to quickly dodge attacks. Okay. I'm not getting much, like much particle effects out of the attacks, out of the special attacks, rather. Which is making it a little hard to read what I'm doing. Those are my sparkles. Wow. So it's like a little tricky to figure out exactly what I'm doing. I'm going to blame that. I don't know why left button like gives me this zoom in. With this being a twin stick shooter, I kind of want like all the actions to be on the shoulders and the triggers rather than face buttons. since I'm not like auto shooting the way you would in like a Binding of Isaac kind of thing, I already had that ability. It's like that's a little yeah, I have to like move away from the right stick on motion, or on the shooting aim rather, to do a motion maneuver. It's not entirely what I want to do, you know? I want to be constantly or almost constantly shooting. I'm just gonna take care of this. Yeah, you leave the turret. Level complete. So like, I came close to running out of HP, but now I'm like virtually full. I didn't see when I healed. Put in speed. Per level? I don't think so. Because I've definitely entered like those, whoa, okay. I definitely entered like arenas with less than full health. This is kind of weird. This is, I guess, what they mean by third-person bosses, with the rest of the game being top-down. So I have to kind of like aim, I have to kind of like angle downward slightly to hit these minions. Kind of makes it easy for them to swarm me. I'm also not sure when the boss is vulnerable. I feel like the nano swarm is doing all the damage. Like it's getting up in there. That might be the only way I can do damage to it. Ah. And the circle on the like the damage bubble thing, not very large, so I have to have the enemies like right up on my tail for it to do anything. Yeah, I don't know what this boss's weak spot is. I also don't know if the dash gave me any iframes. I feel like it didn't. And it's just about maneuvering. Okay, I think when it opens up, I'm doing damage to it. I mean, I'm not doing large numbers. These are 5s and 3s, the occasional 7. Fire, fire. Like many things happening. Is this, like when it's closed, I'm doing damage? Like that's a lot of shoots. Do I have to like shoot around its guns or something? Like the outer core, or like the outer shell is what's weak? But I mean, it's like a little tough to read what's going on with the boss. I overheated. I also, if you're gonna have the overheat mechanic, I kind of want a visual indicator on the ship. Just to have it like flash red a little bit. That's all. Make it much easier to realize what's happening and account for it. I have died. Yeah, I don't know what the weak point on that thing is. So I was just kind of like blindly shooting at it and hoping for the best. Disc shooter. Sure. Now see, that one was pretty readable. Like, what was going on? That one's fine. It even makes sense that like it bounced to the right and then went off the stage to the left. So that one's fine. Like the variety of shapes and sizes on the arenas is good. I like that. Don't like that. I do like that I can just focus on the objective if the enemies start to get a little too much. Yeah, I'm not healing like chamber to chamber. Shot rate up. Oh, this is a closed arena, so that's gonna bounce until it expires. I applaud that. Again, still a solid soundtrack. Like, that part's pretty good. But I'm very glad these turrets don't go like all the way to the walls of the map every time. That would be a bit much. Homing missiles. These are available now. And they did do the smart thing where your shots are always blue, your enemy shots are always red or some warm color, so in the chaos it's not that hard to tell what shots are safe to intersect and what ones you really do need to stay away from. Like, it seemed like an obvious thing, but occasionally games will get that wrong and be confusing as a result. Or they'll do the color differentiation, but it's not safe to walk into your own shots. That's a little, like how speed burst is in all caps. Boost our damage. Yeah, we're not doing any damage to it currently. But it did seem like we were doing a little bit with our drone. Also, it's doing new attacks, which I appreciate. As much as I don't like that it has homing missiles. because those are harder to dodge because they home in, hence the name. I am just not hitting things. There's this whole like angle aspect. I get no clue what the weak point is. So I guess I'm just kinda managing the spawns, managing the minions. And using my specials to do virtually everything. And then always move clockwise, because that's the direction its fire thing goes. I will say reasonable telegraphing on the attacks here, so I'm cool with that. There's just no telegraphing on the weak point. What's the weak point? What am I to shoot? My missiles are working, it seems, but the drone isn't and my shots aren't. Do I have to like crack its shell a little bit before I can actually damage? Because if so, like I can't tell that. Makes it pretty tricky to establish a strategy here. Yeah, the oh, I overheated. The jump from top down to third person is a little sketch. I'm just realizing what's happening. Not the worst thing. I feel like the controls are so much better top down though. Like that feels like the more polished and readable. Of the two. It's like when it goes and does an attack, I'm just popping my specials. We've done like no damage to it. I feel like the Nano Swarm is the only thing that was really giving it a beating last time. Now we don't have that, so. And I can't like angle up high enough to hit that dome. Because I was thinking maybe that's a vulnerable spot, and that's why the missiles are getting it, but I can't angle. I just could not go fast enough to avoid that fire. Some gnarly minions. I don't know why all of a sudden I can't dodge that. I'm trying to think of it like a record player. Like I want to be further away because it's slower. Or is it faster? Like I know the effective speed is different. I'm just dumb and don't remember which one it is. Oh, now I'm doing damage. I have to get right up in there. Well, that's hazardous. Those stupid shields up. So yeah, like we did a lot of damage on that one wave, but we took a lot of damage. Yeah, that's super precarious. Ah. Oh wait, just being close does it. Like, I guess my shots don't have much range. Ah. Ah. Okay. So I have a strategy for the boss now. Just get up in its face. Keep leveling up and I don't actually know what it means to level up. I guess we have a lot of these points. Oh, we can downgrade. Okay. That's actually a good idea. Oh yeah, I barely use the ability, but might as well. Yeah, there we go. We'll give it another run. Drone bomber. Kapow. Yeah, all those damage ups making this thing go a lot faster. We're doing like a little more than twice the damage, I think, or 3 times the damage. What did we start with? I thought we started at 5, so it would be twice. Those mines are just detritus. They're just ruins. Alright. Weapon cooldown is better. I'm doing well enough that I don't really need the abilities right now. Not yet. Not sure how much that'll help, like come boss fight time or whatever. That carpet bomber does not actually help much. Like, I guess it gets us a little bit of range in a way, but like the explosions aren't very large, so it doesn't do a ton. There you are. Oh, there's a power mine drop. This might be my least favorite set of weapons so far. Like, personally, but we got nothing else to upgrade, so fine. Now that we know, like, just get up in its face. Yeah, it doesn't have a weak phase or anything. It's just get up in there. It's actually super easy. All the trouble I was having was because I misread my range. And being in this perspective, it's not as easy to see what your range is. If the fight were top down, it'd be immediately obvious. Well, good thing it took me several tries to figure it out, because ta-da. Still a solid soundtrack. I guess overall, like, it does need a little bit of improvement on readability, like a little better sense of what's happening in combat. I would really appreciate if the overheat was like visible on the ship, because that's what I'm watching, is my ship. I'm not watching the HUD. You do run into a little, like if you're low on health, how do you reflect that? That would be like flash red. But then overheating would also be flash red. So like, how do you represent that? Not sure. Yeah, like the third-person boss fights, interesting concept, does mix it up. Little harder to tell what's going on. Little harder to play in general. And I'm not really sure. I would prefer top-down, like all the way. I can understand feeling like, that would get old. A lot of game, like virtually every game, sticks to one perspective the entire time. So it's, you know, that's something people do. Again, music, pretty solid. Art style, little generic. Not really getting impressed with how it looks. I don't know how you would necessarily improve that stylistically. That's a hard thing to pin down. Yeah, it's, I don't know, I'm like loosely positive with it. I don't think it's bad. I don't think it's going to be bad. Overall, is it going to, like, you know, raise to the high pantheon of roguelikes? Probably not. But I can imagine it being a good, like, time waster almost.